Wondering how to respond when your toddler says no? It's not always easy to muster, but there is actually a really straightforward way to handle this. Okay, come on. Hello, I'm Cassie from Custom Built Parenthood. I love encouraging and educating people to be happier, more effective parents. If you want to get more encouragement and information on how to be the best parent you can be, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so that you'll know about my new videos. So last week I encouraged you to stop saying no to your 1-year-old, and I thought today I should flip that right around. So in today's video, I am talking about why your toddler says no all the time, how to prevent them from saying no so often, and how to respond when they do say no. Stick around to the end and I will be going into a bit more detail on boundaries for toddlers. So here's the deal. I have 3 kids, ages 7, 5, and 1, and that last little guy is now almost 20 months old. Even after years as a foster parent and now years with my own kids, I'm not gonna lie, the first time this sweet little 1-year-old told me no, I was a little taken aback. It was somewhere between 15 and 18 months old that my baby learned the word no, and let's be honest, my life would never be the same. By the way, you might be able to guess that now the word no is actually one of his favorite words to say, right next to dada or daddy. Seriously, how does this happen? Fellow mamas, do you feel me on this? Okay, so back to the word no. It's not like up until this point, my baby accepted everything I was offering or never had ideas of his own, but seriously, it feels so different when they're just coming right out and saying no to your face. It really does feel personal and seems super defiant. You might feel like your toddler's out to get you or that they're intentionally trying to undermine you. You might even start seeing them in a negative light, like this little manipulator trying to disrespect you all the time. While this is all a very compelling story to tell ourselves, it just isn't true. You're not the victim here and your toddler is not out to get you. So decide right now to stop making this whole no thing about you and to start making it about your child. I know this is really tough to make this shift in mindset, but I'm telling you, it will make all the difference. So first, will you humor me for just a minute and let me educate you about why your toddler says no all the time. In the world of child development, we know without a doubt that your toddler saying no is completely normal and developmentally appropriate. Autonomy versus shame and doubt is the second stage of a child's development. We've known this for about 70 years now, thanks to a guy named Erik Erikson, and it's the stage that starts around 18 months of age and ends between the ages of 2 and 3. So your young toddler is just now realizing that they're a different person than you. And so naturally, they're wanting to explore this. They're legitimately needing to figure out for themselves if they can do things on their own or if they always have to rely on others. For the first time in their life, they're claiming their independence. Okay, let's hold hands.
No.
You wanna hold hands?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do I want?
So although saying no is normal and expected of your toddler, I always like to point out that a child's actions are a two-way street. Their actions can be a reflection on them as a person, or they can be a reflection on you as their parent, meaning that as long as you do your part, you don't need to take accountability for their choices. So because I care about you and your toddler, I'm gonna give you some tough love and straight up tell you that you as the parent do have the responsibility to help your child through this stage. I talked a lot more about this principle in my past video, Feeling Like a Failure. It's up here if you want to check it out. First, I need some water. So, autonomy is our goal and desired result from this stage, which translates to your toddler feeling secure and confident instead of inadequate and self-doubting. So we want them to establish a sense of control over themselves and to be confident in their abilities. As with everything in child development, successfully passing through this stage is a critical building block for future stages. Enough nerding out, let me get some practical applications. The whole point of life with a toddler should be to give them choices and independence whenever possible. This can often prevent the no altogether and encourage your toddler, to say yes more. Choices and independence allow them to feel more in control of their life. That's just how it is. They're getting practice at making choices, they're learning new skills, and gaining confidence, all of which will serve them for their whole life. So even though I'm telling you to give your toddler choices, I am a firm believer that they need rules and boundaries, which we'll talk about later. You're never compromising on boundaries, you're compromising on everything else. So really, there are more opportunities than you think to give your toddler choices. I'll mention 3 main areas of their life that are the perfect opportunity to give them choices: clothing, toys, and food. First of all, clothing. Allow your toddler to choose their outfit. You can give them 2 options to choose from, or put their clothes on their level, ensuring that all of the options available to them are acceptable for them to wear. I think I'll talk about this more in an upcoming video. Let me know in the comments if that's something you would enjoy. Second is toys. Allow your toddler to choose what to play with and how to play with it. Don't correct your toddler's play. If they're using a boat as an airplane, don't interrupt their play with corrections. You are welcome to model the right way to play with it once they're finished and it's your turn to play with the toy. Third is food. Allow your toddler to choose what they eat. Present acceptable options and be okay with what they choose. Also, allow your toddler to feed themselves if that's their preference. It will make a huge mess, but it will make them happier at mealtimes, which will make you happier at mealtimes. So if handled properly, your toddler saying no all the time will definitely fall under the category of a stage that your child will grow out of. To help this be the case, you're going to be very mindful about how you respond when your toddler says no. Step 1, be sure that you have a firm handle on your own emotions. I will preach this all day long. This includes your tone of voice, your body language. The last thing you want to do is give your toddler the idea that they have power over you to bring out a super strong reaction. I did talk a little bit about this in Avoid Blowing Up at Your Kids. Check that out there if you want some tips about that. Step 2 is the ABCs. This is my standard procedure for tantrums, which is up here, misbehavior, and now even the word no. It's a simple formula for the script that you're going to say based on what you're seeing in your toddler. So A is for acknowledge, B is for boundary, C is for choice. So first, acknowledge what your toddler is wanting and feeling. Next, set a clear boundary. And lastly, give them a choice, one of which you control. Step 3, follow through with the boundary, which often means helping your child accomplish the task. Don't expect your toddler to do it on their own. Be ready to help them. So quick example, let's say you've been visiting at a friend's house and now it's time to leave. You gave your toddler a 2-minute warning, hoping to avoid this whole crisis, but still when it was time to go, she tells you no. Step 1, take a deep breath and make sure you're calm and ready to really see your child. Okay, that's what acknowledge means. You're really seeing your child, seeing what they're going through, seeing how they're feeling. So step 1, you're calm. Step 2, the ABCs. So you're going to acknowledge, I can see you really want to keep playing. Boundary, it's time to go. Choice is the C. Would you like to walk with me to the car or be carried? So you gave your child a couple seconds and they're either going to obey, they'll hop up and say, okay, yeah, I'll walk to the car, and they go walking to the car, or they keep saying no, or they melt down on the floor, and you're going to just kindly scoop them up off the floor and carry them out to the car. That is you enforcing the boundary. That's what I mean by you controlling one of the choices. So beyond these 3 steps, try as hard as you can not to hold a grudge or feel the need to punish or lecture. Saying no or struggling to obey is a normal part of your toddler learning and developing. Remind yourself that they're the child going through this, not you, so don't mirror their bad behavior or let them drag you down into their bad mood. Stay firm and anchored in your conviction to be a kind and dependable parent, one that they can rely on no matter what's going on around them. It can honestly be scary for them when they're feeling these big emotions and they have no idea how to deal with it. And if you start losing that, it's scary, and you don't want to have them be in that situation. You want to stay calm and firm and be somebody that they can really count on and trust to be the bigger person here, because you are bigger. Okay, boundaries for toddlers. So let's go into a little more depth about these boundaries for toddlers, because with all of these choices that I'm wanting you to give them, you might be wondering where the boundaries even come into play. I definitely think it's wise to pick your battles, meaning don't fight your kid on every single thing. The goal isn't to control them, the goal is to keep them safe and to teach them how to be a kind and capable human. Here are some examples of boundaries that I'm saying to my toddler right now, pretty much every day at the moment. Tables aren't for climbing. That is a boundary. Food isn't for throwing. Soft with people and animals. Toilets aren't for playing in. Walls aren't for drawing on. Big scissors aren't for toddlers. Those are all boundaries. Notice that the word no wasn't used in any of them. I could be saying no climbing, no hitting, no throwing food, no throwing this into the toilet. But if we want our toddler to stop saying no all the time, I think we'd better stop saying no all the time too. I do have a whole video about this. I will link it up here. I just talked about it. But really, the wording of these boundaries should be constructive and shouldn't invoke shame or encourage negative self-talk. Talking to your toddler this way definitely takes practice and really goes against our natural tendency as parents, but it's really worth making the extra effort. So that's it. For me, the toddler stage is honestly when parenting gets a little bit more tricky. I wholeheartedly love and enjoy every part of the baby stage. You can check that out here. I talked about it. And once my kid starts getting into everything, talking back to me, claiming their independence, life doesn't feel quite so easy and straightforward. So what I'm learning to do is to try to work with my toddler instead of against him, and really avoid that power struggle altogether. By nature, kids are motivated to please us when they feel loved. So shower your toddler with love and attention, fill them up with positivity and confidence, and you'll see more and more improvements in their behavior just by doing that. Just as you wouldn't appreciate being bossed around all the time, neither does your toddler, so approach them with kindness and patience, and everyone's gonna be so much happier. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel reach more wonderful people like you. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and we'll see you next time.